Have you ever wondered why dogs are such a mysterious subject in Islam? Why something so familiar, loyal, and loving is sometimes surrounded by fear, silence, or even taboo? Today, we're going to explore what very few dare to talk about: the incredible, untold connection between dogs and the Islamic faith. For centuries, dogs have walked beside humanity, protecting, guiding, and comforting. Yet, in many Muslim cultures, they've been pushed to the edges of homes and hearts. But what if I told you that the Quran itself tells a story of a dog that was not rejected, but honored? A dog that stood beside believers and was mentioned in the same verses as people chosen by God. In this video, we'll dive deep into that divine story, explore real-life examples happening right now around the world, and uncover the truth that lies beyond myths and misconceptions. We'll see how compassion, faith, and loyalty all meet in one of Islam's most surprising narratives, the story that nobody dares to tell. If you've ever wondered what the Quran really says about dogs, comment below with your first thought. Hit like if this topic already surprises you, and share it with someone who believes dogs are forbidden in Islam. Because what you'll discover today might just change that belief forever. Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Share this video with your loved ones, because this knowledge can literally change a life. The Quran speaks of a group of young believers who fled their city to protect their faith. They took refuge in a cave, a place of silence, darkness, and divine protection. But few people noticed that these young men were not alone. By their side lay a loyal companion, a dog. In Surah al-Kahf, chapter 18, verses 18 and 22 describe this moment. And you would have thought them awake while they were asleep, and we turned them to the right and the left, while their dog stretched out its forelegs at the entrance. The small detail, their dog, has captured the curiosity of scholars for centuries. Why was this animal mentioned so clearly, when even the young men's names were not? According to early commentators, the dog, later called Kitmir in Islamic tradition, guarded the entrance of the cave, a silent protector. Some say it was once a royal hunting dog that left behind its masters to follow these believers, drawn by their faith. Others see it as a symbol of loyalty rewarded by divine mercy. Either way, this moment in the Quran is unique. An animal, often misunderstood or avoided, is placed among the righteous. This challenges many assumptions. It tells us that purity in Islam is not about appearance, species, or social status. It's about intention and faithfulness. The dog's presence at the threshold of the cave is more than a physical guard. It represents spiritual loyalty, the unseen guardianship that stands between truth and falsehood. Even more remarkable, the Quran does not condemn the dog. It does not call it impure. It includes it naturally in a miracle story, and through that, it gives the world a subtle but powerful message. Even those we overlook may hold a place in divine history. Across the centuries, believers have reflected on this story as proof that God's mercy extends to all living beings. Kitmir became a symbol of hope, the idea that loyalty and sincerity, even from a creature with no voice, can bring one closer to God. When we remember this story, we realize something profound. Faith is not about rejection, but recognition, seeing the signs of God in everything, even in the gentle eyes of a dog guarding the cave. Take a moment. What surprises you most about this Quranic story? Comment below with one word that describes what this story makes you feel. If you believe this story reveals a deeper side of Islam's compassion, share this video with someone who still thinks dogs have no place in faith. Let's spread knowledge instead of fear. For centuries, Muslims across the world have heard one statement repeated again and again: dogs are impure. But is that truly what the Quran says? Or is it something that evolved later? A mix of culture, interpretation, and fear. Let's start with the facts. In the Quran, there is no verse that calls dogs haram or impure. In fact, Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:4 explicitly allows the use of trained hunting dogs. They ask you what is lawful for them. Say, lawful for you are all good foods and what you have taught your hunting animals, which you train as Allah has taught you. So eat of what they catch for you. This verse doesn't just permit the use of dogs, it honors their intelligence and usefulness. Allah Himself says He has taught them, granting them purpose and dignity. So where did the fear come from? Some hadiths mention angels avoiding homes with dogs or concerns about ritual purity. But many scholars clarify that these narrations refer to specific contexts, not blanket condemnation. The Prophet Muhammad himself spoke of a sin being forgiven because a woman gave water to a thirsty dog, saying that God has forgiven her because of that act of kindness. Think about that for a moment. Compassion toward a dog was enough to open the doors of paradise. Yet, in many Muslim societies, dogs are chased away, mistreated, or seen as symbols of impurity. In some cities, rescuers are criticized simply for showing mercy. But the Quran paints a different picture, one of balance, respect, and responsibility. The deeper truth is this: Islam's focus has never been about labeling creatures as dirty. It's about maintaining spiritual and physical cleanliness, not hatred toward God's creations. The Quran repeatedly calls us to observe nature, to recognize signs in every living being. That includes dogs. Even the Prophet ﷺ's companions used dogs for herding, guarding, and protection. It was never their existence that posed a problem. Only neglect or superstition could turn a gift of God into a source of division. Today, as modern Muslim communities evolve, more people are beginning to re-examine these inherited ideas. Shelters are opening in Morocco, Turkey, Indonesia, and Pakistan, run by Muslims who say, caring for a dog is an act of worship. They are reviving the compassion that once defined the faith. Maybe the real impurity is not on the fur of the dog, but in the heart that refuses mercy. Have you ever heard someone say, dogs are impure in Islam? What was your reaction? Comment below with your experience or belief. Let's talk openly and respectfully. If you think it's time to clear these misconceptions, like this video and share it. Because truth only spreads when we dare to question what we've been told. Now, let's leave the pages of history and step into the present. Because the story of compassion toward dogs in Islam isn't locked in the past. It's being written every single day across the world. In Istanbul, early each morning, volunteers prepare warm meals, not for people, but for the city's thousands of street dogs. Many of them are Muslim youth who say us. Feeding them is ibadah, an act of worship. They recall the Prophet's words, "In every living being there is a reward." The city has even placed water stations and shelters near mosques, where worshippers stop to pray and then share food with these loyal creatures. In Morocco, a small group called Société de Protection des Animaux et de la Nature has begun rescuing injured dogs once targeted by fear and neglect. Their founder says, "We are not defying Islam. We are living it. Each dog that recovers becomes a testimony to mercy. The same mercy the Quran describes as Rahmah, a reflection of the divine name, Ar-Rahman, the most compassionate." In Pakistan, a young imam gained attention for defending a stray dog near his mosque. When some worshippers complained that angels would not enter the mosque, he calmly replied, Then let the dog stay. Perhaps Allah will send mercy with him instead. The video of his statement went viral, changing minds and hearts online. And in Indonesia, Muslim veterinarians have joined with clerics to teach that caring for animals, including dogs, is a form of gratitude to the Creator. They cite both Quran 5:4 and the Hadith of the Forgiven Woman, reminding people that divine mercy can be found even in a small bowl of water offered to a thirsty soul. These real-life stories remind us that Islam was never meant to be a religion of fear, but of balance, a faith that recognizes every creature as part of a greater design. The same message that echoes through the Quran story of the dog in the cave lives again in these modern examples of courage and compassion. One of the most touching accounts comes from Syria, where amidst the ruins of war, volunteers risked their lives to rescue both people and animals. One rescuer said, "When I feed a dog that has no owner, I feel I am feeding a sign of God." His words mirror an ancient truth, that service to creation is service to the Creator. Maybe that's what makes this topic so powerful. It's not just about dogs. It's about rediscovering the soul of Islam itself: mercy, justice, and care for all life. The Quran tells us, "The most honored of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous among you." It doesn't say the most human. Righteousness belongs to hearts that show compassion, whether they beat in a person or wag in a tail. Have you witnessed compassion like this in your own community? Comment below with a story, small or big, where kindness to an animal revealed something divine. If these stories move you, share this video right now. Let the world see that mercy still lives in Muslim hearts, and that the Quran's message of compassion walks today on four faithful legs. Now we reach the heart of the mystery, the part few dare to speak about. Why would the Quran mention a dog among the faithful of the cave, yet so many believers fear or reject them today? What is the hidden lesson behind this divine inclusion? The truth might be deeper than law. It lies in symbolism and spiritual reflection. The dog in Surah al-Kahf wasn't just a guard. It was a mirror of loyalty, obedience, and devotion, qualities that even humans sometimes lose. In the Quran's story, the dog did not speak, yet its silence spoke volumes. Unwavering faithfulness at the door of truth. What nobody dares to tell is that this story challenges the human ego. It asks, can you be as loyal to truth as the dog was to its companions? It humbles us, reminding us that purity is not found in status, but in sincerity. Many early Muslim scholars saw Kitmir, the dog of the cave, as a symbol of unconditional loyalty rewarded by divine mercy. Some traditions even say that Kitmir will enter paradise alongside the youths he guarded. Whether literal or symbolic, the message is the same. God does not forget the loyal, no matter their form. This is the mystery hidden beneath centuries of fear and misunderstanding. The dog, often dismissed as impure, stands in the Quran as a sign of faithfulness that crosses species, language, and law. It's as if Allah is telling us, do not measure my mercy with human standards. And perhaps that's why the story was placed in Surah al-Kahf, the same chapter Muslims are encouraged to read every Friday, a chapter about patience, humility, and recognizing truth in hidden places. Even in a creature we might overlook, there is a lesson of divine nearness. The real impurity is not in a dog's body, but in the heart that cannot see God's signs in all creation. The real purity is the heart that loves, protects, and remains loyal, just like Kitmir did. So maybe the mystery is not about dogs at all. It's about us. Pause for a moment. What lesson does the dog in the cave teach you today? Comment below with one word that captures that lesson. Loyalty, faith, humility, or mercy. If this message touched your heart, share this video so others can rediscover what true purity and compassion mean in Islam. So, after everything we've seen, the Quranic story, the myths, and the real acts of compassion, what can we do today? How can we bring back the mercy that Islam teaches and live it in our daily lives? It starts with awareness. Realize that dogs, like all animals, are creations of Allah. They feel hunger, pain, and love. The Prophet taught us, whoever shows mercy even to a sparrow, Allah will show him mercy on the day of judgment. If that applies to a bird, how could mercy not apply to a dog? Next comes education. Talk to your friends, family, and community about what the Quran actually says. Share the verses of Surah al-Kahf and al-Ma'idah. Remind people that trained dogs are mentioned with honor, and that showing kindness to them is not haram, it's human. Then comes action. You don't need to own a dog to practice compassion. You can feed strays, place a bowl of water outside your home, or support shelters run by volunteers. You can even help change the way your mosque or neighborhood sees dogs, through gentle conversation and example. For those who keep dogs for guarding, therapy, or companionship, remember the Prophet's emphasis on cleanliness, not avoidance. Keep spaces pure, care for the animal's hygiene, and treat it with the respect Islam demands for every living being. Mercy and order can coexist beautifully. And finally, intent. Every act of kindness, feeding a stray, saving a life, teaching truth, becomes an act of worship if done for Allah's sake. Mercy is not just an emotion, it's a form of ibadah, worship. When we extend our compassion to the voiceless, we echo the mercy of the one who gave them life. When we see Kitmir's lesson in every creature, we don't just follow a story, we continue it. If you want to be part of a movement of compassion, say, "I'm in the comments." Let's start a wave of kindness that reflects the true heart of Islam. Share this section with someone who loves animals. And remind them that mercy is the language all of God's creatures understand. We've traveled a long way, from the cave of the sleepers to the streets of Istanbul, from ancient verses to modern hearts. And through it all, one truth shines clearly. Islam is not a religion of rejection, but of recognition. The dog in the Quran was not erased from the story. It was included in it. Kitmir stood guard at the door of faith, reminding us that loyalty, mercy, and devotion are qualities honored by Allah, no matter where they are found. For centuries, people have misunderstood, feared, or ignored this truth. But you and I, right here, right now, have the power to rewrite that story by showing compassion, by questioning false beliefs, and by remembering that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The most merciful shows mercy to those who are merciful." So, as you finish this video, take a moment to reflect. What if the dog in Surah al-Kahf wasn't just guarding the believers, but guarding a message meant for us? A message that faith without mercy is incomplete. It's time to look at every creature, not with fear, but with reverence. Because the same God who created you also created them, and He watches how you treat His creation. What surprised you the most in this journey? Comment, "Surprised," if you learned something new about dogs in Islam, and tell us what changed your mind the most. If this video opened your eyes, like it, share it, and subscribe for more stories that reveal the hidden beauty of faith. Together, let's bring mercy back into the conversation. One story, one act, one heart at a time. Before we end, here's a challenge for you. A way to bring this lesson from story into action. Challenge 1. Ask someone in your community or mosque, what do you think about dogs in Islam? Listen to their perspective, then come back and share it in the comments. Let's open a respectful conversation that uncovers both knowledge and misunderstanding. Challenge 2. Take a photo or share a story of a dog in your community, stray, pet, or working animal, and reflect on what it teaches about loyalty, compassion, or faith. Post it below or describe it in a comment. These small actions can spark awareness, challenge misconceptions, and help spread the Quran's true message of mercy. Will you accept the challenge? Comment "Challenge accepted" below, and we'll highlight your stories in our next video. If this inspired you, share this video with friends and family, because every act of kindness starts with a conversation.